Are you wanting to know what exercises you should be doing in the gym to help your squat, bench, and deadlift? Well, today I'm gonna give you the top 5 accessory movements you need to do to improve those lifts. Let's get to it. Hey there, Smitley here from Thirst Gym, and I'm gonna help you determine today the top 5 accessory exercises for your squat, bench press, and your deadlift to improve your total. Now, before we get started, I wanna make sure we're all on the same page here. And by accessory exercises, what I mean are exercises that are not squat, bench press, and deadlift relatives. They're not supplemental based movements. They're gonna be smaller exercises that you're not going to use a barbell for. So with these exercises, as Louis Simmons coined them, special exercises, these are exercises after you've done your main squat, bench press, and deadlift work. They can drive those lifts up so that you can continue to lift more weight and build more muscle mass in the particular areas that you're gonna need. So in all my years of working with lifters and competing myself, these are the 5 exercises that I think are staples in training programs to build those lifts. Let's talk about them. All right, the first exercise I'm gonna recommend here is the glute ham raise. Now, I've beat this exercise into submission here lately on YouTube, and for good reason, because in my opinion, it's the most underrated lower body exercise that you're probably not doing. But on top of that, this exercise just builds a stupid strong posterior chain. And when it comes to powerlifting, we know the posterior chain is important for the deadlift and even for the squat. Having big, strong, meaty hamstrings and glutes is going to help your powerlifting total. And the glute ham raise is a great body weight exercise that you can use to be able to do that. So I've got this set up here, and we're gonna talk about some quick execution things. You want your knees up here to the front or middle back part of the pad. You don't wanna have it way up here, and you don't wanna have them super far below. You wanna be right up on the pad. But the unique thing about the glute ham raise is that you train your hamstring at both the knee and the hip joint. And there's not a whole lot of exercises that you can do that, but the glute ham raise does let you do that. So you're just gonna start here, come down, and then squeeze and come up to the top. Really trying to use that posterior chain, staying nice and strong, and owning that position here in the bottom, getting your leg completely straight and driving up with the hamstrings. So for an exercise like this, again, great accessory exercise. Put it at the back end of your squat or your deadlift day. If you're really strong, you can use it as a warm-up. If you've got just an accessory-based day, you can place this there. I do think the glute ham raise is something you can do twice a week, especially if you suck ass at it. Really hammer this home. I'll link some other videos in the description box below so you can check out more glute ham raise variations and how to build upon that. But again, number 1 exercise in my opinion that you need to be doing to improve your powerlifting total. All right, exercise number 2 that I recommend is a good old-fashioned dip. Now, the reason I love dips are twofold. One, they're super scalable, so you can add band assistance if you need to, or you can add a ton of weight and make them harder. You can use them for high reps, you can use them for lower reps. They're very versatile. The other nice thing is you get a nice bit of upper body work in your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps, and then you can also make this a little more focused towards what you want to do. If you want a little more chest or a little more triceps, you can adjust your arms a little bit. We'll talk about here in a second. So, I'm gonna face away here, and then start from the top position, come down, hit 90 degrees, and drive back up. Keep my elbows tucked in if I want more tricep development, which most people usually need. And if you want more of a chest focus, you're going to lean forward more, let your elbows track out a little bit more, and that's gonna give you more direct chest work. My recommendation when you program this, after you've done your main bench work and you want to use this as like a big quality exercise, this could be like third after you've done like a bench, a supplemental exercise, and then hit this for hard sets of 8 to 12. If you want to use, if you're stronger, you want to use this as a finisher, you use this at the end of your bench press training sessions to knock this out for very high reps, 15, 20, 25 reps, or as many reps as you can get in 3 minutes, as many reps as you get in 2 minutes, as whatever it takes to get 100 total reps. I've programmed this in numerous ways, and I've always found that this exercise blows people's bench press up, therefore improving your total. Exercise number 3 on my list is the reverse hyper popularized by Louis Simmons. And I know many people are gonna give me some hate on this, and I kind of tinkered on whether I want this on here or not, but here's why I love the reverse hyper. Number 1, we get quality glute and hamstring work. We need the posterior chain for big squats and big deadlifts. We know that. But the reason I put this on my list at number 3 is the low back tractioning. The work that you get from this is unique. You cannot duplicate it without a proper reverse hyper. I even took the reverse hyper. I got this from Matt Winning. Shout out to Matt Winning for this. And Louis Simmons is ultimately who he probably got it from as well. But basically what I did to drive my squat and my deadlift up is I did 50 total reverse hyper reps every single training day. Lower body did not matter. And the goal was to take 50% of my deadlift on there, build up to that of doing that 50 total reps. So basically I would do about 15 reps, and then I would do about 20 reps on my last one. And then I would give me my 50 total reps to warm up, but then that built up my posterior chain before I went to squat and deadlift and got me ready to train. You don't have to do that, but I thought I would just use that as an anecdotal evidence. That's what I built up to doing, was 250 pounds for 50 total reps every day that I trained when I competed. Now, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna use my strap here, but they make strap rollers attachments. The longer strap's gonna be more glute focused, the shorter strap's gonna get more hamstrings involved. Both are great, mix them up, use them as you wish. This is something that you can hit high reps on, high density, high training volume, and you're going to be able to recover from. So you're just gonna hop up here, you're gonna adjust this little thing here so that you've got a good place to hold on to. Back is relatively neutral. You're gonna use your glutes and your hamstrings to get this weight started. Squeeze, control, and try to stop the weight is one way to do it. That's the way that you're gonna strengthen your back. If you want more traction, what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna do normal reps, but let it actually come underneath and arch, extend, and relax. That's another way. And then you can also do just partial swings here as well to really blow those hamstrings up and create some yielding and good quality tension in that stretch position of the hamstring. But regardless, I think it's a fantastic way to warm up. I think it's a fantastic way to end your training sessions. It's ultimately up to you and how you want to utilize it. My suggestion is to use this 1 to 2 times a week after your squat and your deadlift days, just for traction purposes and low back health. But also if you want stronger posterior chain, do really hard sets of 15 to 20 reps here consistently for years and watch your low back, your glutes, and your hamstring strength just skyrocket, and that's ultimately going to help your deadlift. All right, the next exercise I love, so exercise number 4, is going to be the rolling tricep extension. Some people just call these rollbacks, but you're going to need 2 dumbbells. I'm doing them on a bench. You can do them on the floor. Personal preference. It's an advanced skull crusher variation that's going to create a big stretch in our tricep and develop explosiveness in our triceps for our bench press. So here on the bench, I'm going to use this for some easier demo. I'm going to put my feet up on the bench as well. It just feels better for me, but you can also have your feet on the ground. That's personal preference here. You're gonna bring the dumbbells back to start on the bench or on the ground, depending upon where you're starting. Elbows are high. The dumbbells are up by my shoulders, up by my ears. From this position, I'm going to try to bring my arms down towards my feet and then extend really hard, okay? Very explosive exercise. So from here, boom. So notice how I'm really trying to roll back, explode up. And so the reason I love this exercise is, one, we're training that big stretch position. We're also getting a dead stop on each one. So we're having to be explosive to get that weight going, just like we do when we actually go to bench press and push. But then ultimately as well, it feels actually pretty decent on your elbows. Now, if you go too stupid heavy and get sloppy with your technique, it's probably gonna bang your elbows up. But if you keep your technique locked in, roll and explode, go right back into it, your elbows should be completely fine. Now, the one thing I will say here, you're not gonna benefit from this exercise if you've got really weak triceps. You probably just need to do a lot of dumbbell sculls, press downs, close grip push-ups, close grip bench press. There's other ways to develop your tricep strength. But at the end of the day, this, if you have some experience, could be the missing link to giving you that pop off your chest during your bench press. I like these relatively heavy, 3, 4, 5 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, really going after it. I've even put this at finishers at the end of some of my athletes training that are really trying to get their triceps stronger or need to improve their tricep strength. But they've got to do 100 total reps, and the max I can rest is 30 or 60 seconds between that rest, between those sets, and just pick a weight and just go. So 20s, 25s, 30s are a good place for many people. But building up on these will skyrocket your bench press and your arm size, I guarantee it. All right, the final exercise on my list, so exercise number 5, is the hanging leg raise. Now, I'm probably gonna hear a little bit of pushback on this, but I figured, one, there needs to be a primary abdominal exercise in here, because without strong abdominal strength, it's gonna immediately hinder your squat and your deadlift, and even your bench press, quite frankly. But at the end of the day, we also want something that's also somewhat restorative nature, kind of like the reverse hyper, something that you can put in every single training session that's going to make a difference, not only how you feel, but improve your lifts. I think the hanging leg raise is just one of the best abdominal exercises for powerlifters. So I've got my trusty hanging leg raise straps here from Elite FTS, and I'll talk about why I like these here in a second. So here, as we get in, I want to make sure it's underneath my elbows. I'm holding on to the straps with my arms, and then my legs are nice and straight. The reason I love this exercise is that, one, we get some decompression in the low back, but then two, as we're doing the exercise, we're also getting some decompression, but we're also training the hip flexors, and we're in a lengthened position down here in the bottom. So we're tying in the hip flexors and the abdominals into one movement, which then ties everything better together for our main lifts. Now, when you're doing this, you want to try to get your legs up as high as you can, shift your center of mass back, get a quality leg raise in there, and then come back down. I think it's a great overall exercise. Just knock out 3 to 4 sets as many as you can. If you're getting super high reps, you can place a med ball in between your knees, your feet, your thighs to add some weight. You can even add ankle weights if you would like to make it harder. You can slow down the tempo. There's quite a bit of different variations. If you can't do any, there are very many, you could just do hanging knee raises and get a similar training effect and build up to them. So they're also super scalable. You can do this as part of your warm up before you get going to train for the day. It's gonna open everything up, or you can end your training session with doing the same thing, opening everything up and still building a nice strong midsection for your squat and your deadlift. All right, that's gonna wrap up today's video of what I think are the top 5 powerlifting accessory exercises that you need to be doing to improve your squat, your bench press, and your deadlift. Again, to recap here, all these exercises I picked as accessory-based exercises that you're not using a barbell with. So if I start using the barbell, I can certainly lump in much better exercises in my opinion from a return on investment. But I think a lot of people have questions of what accessory exercises work really well for these movements, and these to me are the top 5 go-tos that, one, are not gonna bang you up. You could do probably just about every single time you walk in the gym from a training session perspective. You know they're gonna give you a high return on investment from the time that you give and the time of work that you put into the exercises, but also, again, they're just staples that have just been proven to work. So these are exercises that I use with dozens and dozens of the lifters that I've worked with and currently work with, and I know many of them usually get a lot of flack or hate, but again, I just think the results and the time that you put into these exercises are just there, whether it be from recovery or regen perspective, kind of like the reverse hyper and the hanging leg raises, or if we're talking about a strong posterior chain with the glute ham raise, or building a massive bench press with the dips and the rolling tricep extensions. So give all these exercises a shot. If you got any questions about them, just let me know. I'd really appreciate it if you smash that like button, leave me a comment, share this video with a friend that needs some help with their accessory exercises. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for checking in, and I'll see you at the next video.